What is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade, basketball analysis coming to y'all with some new news. D'Angelo Russell and Malik Beasley and Jared Vanderbilt all been traded to the Lakers. The Los Angeles Lakers and the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Utah Jazz have agreed to a three-team trade. The Lakers will acquire D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley, and Jared Vanderbilt while sending out Russell Westbrook, a lightly protected 2027 first-round pick, Damian Jones, and Juan Toscano Anderson to the Jazz. So the Jazz basically want picks so that way they can rebuild. They're a retooling team right now. They got an all-star in Laurie Marketing. Obviously, Russell Westbrook is not going to be a long-term player there. Um, we don't know what's going to happen with Russell Westbrook. He's still a quality player, especially if he can come off your bench. He can rebound. He can attack the basket. He can knock down shots. He can still play make at a pretty good level. Um, but his salary is about to be off the books, so it's a good move to get a 2027 first round pick. I also think Damian Jones and Juan Scott Anderson, they won't be on this team long term. They're quality players, but obviously they're not keepable players. They're movable players. They didn't even play that much on the Lakers, so I don't think that they'll play that much on the Jazz. The first round pick from the Lakers and Utah is protected 1 through 4, so that gives good security on that one. The Wolves will also acquire Mike Conley and Nickeil Alexander Walker in a second round pick from the Lakers. I feel like the second round pick helps because you still want to pick up some quality young players because you already have Gobert under a huge contract. You already have Towns under a big contract, and you have to eventually extend Anthony Edwards. So getting quality players in the first and the late first round and second round is essential to when you have a high salary cap on your team. Nikhil, he's been bouncing around the league. I don't really know what to think about him. I think he's going to be a guy that's not going to stick around on this roster just because he hasn't been able to score. He hasn't been able to develop into the guy that a lot of people seen him with high upside in the draft. I think Mike Conley is a better fit than D'Angelo Russell because he's more consistent. He's more of a stabilizer. He's going to come in there. He's going to run the offense. He's not going to get in the way. He's going to play make when it's needed. He's going to space the floor better. He's a lot more consistent of a player than D'Angelo Russell. Obviously, he's smaller and he's shorter, but he is a better defender also. I think the only problem with Mike Conley is he's been injury plagued. You need him to stay healthy if you want to get the benefit of getting him on a roster. His contract also is not going to be that long, just like D'Angelo Russell. He obviously is an older player, but D'Angelo Russell has been hit or miss. He has had one of his low points this season, honestly, and I think Mike Conley has been pretty solid this year. The Jazz will also buy out Russell Westbrook. So it's going to be interesting to see what they end up, what team he ends up going to. I just feel like it's tough if you in Westbrook's shoes, knowing that this was going to eventually happen. The best part about Westbrook is that he hasn't played that bad this season. It just his contract is just ridiculous. It's like Westbrook is still a quality player. He's still an NBA player. I don't think he's going to be out the league anytime soon. It's just his contract was just absolutely ridiculous. And the Lakers actually got something that they needed, which is floor spacing. D'Angelo Russell was a guy that can get hot from three. He can hit some mid ranges. He can create his own shot. Malik Beasley is a shooter that can come off your bench, start for you if needed, give you some solid defense, give you some size, give you some athleticism, give you some transition game. And Jared Vanderbilt is a switchable guy. You know, he can knock down shots. He's lanky. He's a solid defender. I feel like the Lakers roster looks a lot better right now just because they have more weapons and more pieces that's actually good. You know, I feel like after all the moves that they could have made, I feel like it was better moves that they could have had made. In a certain extent, when you look at all the deals that was proposed over this entire season, but I do feel like the Lakers had to do something. You know, LeBron and AD are still young enough to where they can do damage. They had to get more creators. They had to get more shooters. And I feel like they did that in this trade. I don't think it makes them a playoff team lock, I do think that they're still going to be in that play-in tournament range. I do think it makes them a better team because it does address a lot of their issues, but they still have defensive problems with some of these players that hasn't really changed too much, and they still do lack that urgency. I feel like the Lakers can be a very comfortable team. They don't have that pop. They don't have that fight in them like they had in their champion. It seemed like they really wanted to prove themselves in that championship run. And I feel like they lack that. Now that they won titles, they seem like they're more comfortable, and it just don't seem like they have that. I want to bring it every night, and I don't think D'Angelo Russell helps that. I don't think Malik Beasley helps that. I just think it just gives them a different look and a different style of play that they didn't really have until this point. I don't think that the roster got worse. I think if anything, the Rui trade made them better. Getting rid of Kendrick Nunn, this trade made them significantly better. But how much better do it make them a championship team? No. And that's what they were trying to do. They were trying to save that Westbrook pick to give them a huge roster upgrade. And I don't think this trade changed their roster significantly to the point where it makes them contenders. I do think that it makes them a better team. I do think it addresses some of their problems. But when you look at the deals that was out there, they just couldn't make one that changed them back into a championship team. And this team did need more offense. They needed to rely a little bit less on LeBron. Now that he got the scoring record, that'd be good. And I feel like AD, he still hasn't been the same AD that he was, in November and a little bit in December. You need to get the same AD back. It's supposed to be LeBron and AD, but they just don't seem as dominant of a duo as they once was. So they need a better supporting cast to make up their difference. And I don't feel like this trade, was able to fix that problem. But I do like the fact that they ended up, making moves that, fit this roster better. What they're trying to do was going in the wrong direction. I feel like they was going in the wrong direction a lot the last two seasons about how you want to build a roster around LeBron and AD. And I feel like this trade makes more sense around this duo. But is it a little bit too late? I feel like they can still salvage their season like they've been doing. They're not completely out of it. They had to make an urgency move, but now you got to try to fit all these guys in, get everybody on the same page, get everybody playing well, get everybody motivated to get the goal accomplished. But it still didn't achieve that goal of putting them back into that championship caliber team that they once was as soon as they acquired Anthony Davis. They was one of the teams to beat. They have lost that luster, and I don't think this move changes that. I just think it's interesting the fact that they didn't have to give up as much. I don't think the pick is going to hurt them. Giving up Russell Westbrook, he was one of their most productive players, one of their best players coming off the bench. But I do feel like they have enough pieces to where they can play a lot better without Russ. I feel like Russ was a big part of what they was doing off the bench. I feel like these players just fit more better with their duo. It gives them more cohesion. And I think that it's going to be interesting to see this team try to have this second run. The best part about it is a lot of these guys are locked into crazy contracts. I feel like Malik Beasley, he just got his extension, but I don't really feel like his contract is bad. His contract will still be tradable, but he is a guy that they needed more of. Same with D'Angelo Russell. His contract isn't terrible just because it's almost over, so it don't lock them into something bad. But D'Angelo Russell does give them a guy that can make shots on the perimeter, and that's something that they lack still to this day. And I do think that these moves make the roster more interesting, and it makes it more, rejuvenated a little bit. And I think that's something that they're missing. But we still need AD to play like the AD of old and not a guy that's constantly missing games and not being dominant when he's out there. I feel like LeBron James has done his job for the most part. And I feel like when you look at this trade, it's not a game changing trade for the Lakers. It's not a game changing trade for the Jazz. I feel like the Wolves are going to benefit the most because I feel like Mike Conley is a better fit for this roster. I've been saying that for a while than D'Angelo Russell. I feel like D'Angelo Russell can get hot, but he can't run an offense. He can't get everything organized. He can't play his position, play his role, and he's not the closer that Mike Conley can be. Mike Conley picks his spots, picks his moments, and he knows his game, and he knows how to run a team. And that's something that D'Angelo Russell still can't do. He was supposed to be one of the franchise point guards coming out that draft, but he really just became a scorer that can contribute only doing that and playmaking a little bit. And I feel like Mike Conley is a steady point guard that understands what a point guard is supposed to go out there and do, getting everybody in order, making sure everybody eats, making sure everything is in place while still giving you floor spacing and shots. And he can also hit the floater. He can also get to the basket. He also is a great free throw shooter, and he understands what it takes to win. He's been to a conference finals. He's been an all-star before, and it's just about him staying healthy. Other than that, I like the move for the Lakers. I like the move for the Wolves. You had to move off of D'Angelo Russell. He hasn't been playing that well the entire season. You're not locked into Mike Conley long term. So even if it doesn't work out, you can get out of this because his contract is almost over too. So I don't really think that is no negatives for any team. It just the Lakers gave up a couple more picks, and you have to give up something to get off that Russell Westbrook contract. The thing will be, what is Westbrook going to do next? Where he's going to go next? What's next for his career? Other than that, Quinn Wade, basketball analysis signing out. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys enjoyed the rest of y'all day.